Tonight, we'll give you the scoop on casting news, Ashley Lohman is back with her Actor Spotlight, and Julia Ricci interviews a filmmaker at the Heartland Film Festival.
All this and more is coming your way, so don't go anywhere, because The Real Deal starts now.
Hello and welcome to another episode of The Real Deal, Ball State's premier entertainment news and movie review show. I'm Kayli Russell.
And I'm Andrew Bennett. Hollywood always seems to deliver both amusing and shocking news stories to keep us intrigued with the movie and television industry. Here with the latest scoop is Romelle Taday. Take it away, Romelle.
So many Goonie Goo-Goos, so little time. Chris Rock, Jamie Foxx, Adam Sandler, and Russell Brand were among the throng of comedy nerds turned superstars who came out Saturday night to pay homage to the man who gave the world Axel Foley, Gumby Dammit, The Lumps, Jimmy Thunder Early, and so on and so forth. Spike TV's 2-hour Eddie Murphy, One Night Only, taped last week in Beverly Hills, and if the carpet length of Murphy's moniker in gold letters wasn't enough to honor the man, the accolades inside certainly were. By the night's end, Murphy addressed the elephant in the room, as all comedians do, saying, "You know what this is like? You ever have somebody sing happy birthday to you, but for like 2 hours? Eddie, you're so, Eddie, I'm Eddied out. I don't know how you all must feel." And after reviewing the past 40 years of laughs, no one seemed to mind a bit. The special airs November 14th at 10 p.m. on Spike. A Diablo Cody comedy series might someday join ABC's Wednesday night lineup, and the Juno writer and United States of Terror creator and former Entertainment Weekly columnist Diablo Cody just sold a pilot script to the broadcast network called Alex Plus Amy. The logline, comedy about a romance between an ambitious 22-year-old millennial guy and a 32-year-old Gen X woman who have just moved together and are very much in love. The project is produced by Warner Brothers TV and Amblin Entertainment, with the deal including a penalty if a pilot is not shot. The executive producers are Justin Flavey, Daryl Frank, and Mason Novick. And what's going on with Jon Favreau's feature film adaptation of the popular Broadway musical Jersey Boys? Well, according to inside sources, the movie based on the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons is in flux. Variety reported that Warner Brothers put the film into a turnaround just a matter of weeks after signing to GK Films to an exclusive first look deal for 1 year and acquiring Jersey Boys. When reached by EW, a rep for Warner Brothers had no comment, and GK Films would neither confirm nor deny the report. A text by EW to Favreau was not immediately returned. The movie, with Favreau on board as director, comes from a script by Hugo writer John Logan and has been shopped around for years, going from Sony to Warner Brothers, and according to Variety, now another studio may jump in.
Thanks, Romelle. It's too bad Jersey Boys is being put on hold. It makes me kind of sad.
Don't get too upset, Kayli. Remember, big girls don't cry. While Kayli gets a tissue, Aaron Beal is here with the latest in casting news. What have you got for us, Aaron?
Jamie Foxx of Stealth fame is in negotiations to appear as the villain in the next Spider-Man movie. The character he's set to play is Max Dillon, an engineer who gains the ability to control electricity after being struck by lightning, becoming Electro. You can see this film on May 2nd, 2014, or just be patient and wait for the series to be rebooted again. In Muppet news, Christoph Waltz of Inglourious Basterds and the upcoming Django Unchained will be joining Kermit, Miss Piggy, and the rest of the gang in The Muppets 2, coming out next year. Little is known about the plot, but might I suggest a shot-for-shot remake of Inglourious Basterds with Muppets. The host's Saoirse Ronan has signed on to star in Wes Anderson's highly anticipated follow-up to Moonrise Kingdom, The Grand Budapest Hotel. Ronan joins Jason Schwartzman, Owen Wilson, Jude Law, and Bill Murray. And if the cast isn't good enough for you, Jeff Goldblum is signed on as well, probably playing a charismatic scientist that wears hipster glasses. Ben Savage and Danielle Fishel may be returning as Cory and Topanga in the Disney Channel's follow-up series to the hit 1990s TV show Boy Meets World. The series, called Girl Meets World, will follow the character's preteen daughter. This is a step in the right direction. Now all we need are follow-up series to the rest of my childhood TV lineup. Is Doug Funny still pining after Patty Mayonnaise? Is Kel Mitchell of Keenan and Kel still alive? This has been Casting Call. I'm Aaron Beal.
Thanks, Aaron. I'm super excited for a Boy Meets World spinoff, but I will refuse to watch if Mr. Feeney isn't the teacher.
I couldn't agree more. I'm sure there's already a petition going around somewhere. But it looks like it's time for our first break. When we come back, Julia Ricci will interview a director at the Heartland Film Festival, and Chauncey Baker has a bone to pick with Hollywood. But first, here's the week's box office report. Stick around.
And I will kill them too.
Brace for impact. No one could have landed that plane like I did.
Well, let's close out with the bad guy affirmation.
I am bad.
And that's good.
I will never be good.
No.
And that's not bad.
Hold that thought.
There's no one I'd rather be than me.
Welcome back. A couple weeks ago, 2 of our producers went to the Heartland Film Festival, which screens hundreds of independent films over the course of 2 weeks. One of those films was a documentary called Stuck, which follows several families as they face bureaucratic impossibilities as they try to adopt their children internationally. Julia Ricci was able to snag an interview with the film's director, Thaddaeus Scheel. Julia?
Hi, I'm here at the Heartland Film Festival with Thaddaeus Scheel, director of Stuck. Is this your first documentary?
It's the first feature-length documentary that I've done that will be released. I've done short-form documentaries before this.
So can you tell us a little bit about Stuck, what it's about?
Sure. Stuck is a film about the problems in international adoption and the crisis in international adoption. There are 10 million kids that are institutionalized around the world. And there are many, many families, millions of families that are willing to take them. But the problem is the system of connecting them is broken. It takes up to 3 years and almost $30,000 to adopt a child now internationally. That's an average. So some are much longer. China's now a 5-year wait, and some are, of course, are less. But the other problem is the rules are always changing, and so families don't know what to expect. They start out on one track, and then the rules change, and they are stuck in this process. So. Hence the name of the film.
So what have you learned through this whole process of making this film?
Well, I've learned a lot. I learned that, I've been inspired by the families in the film and their persistence and love of these children and how they just continue to fight for them. And I've also learned that government tends to default to the safe option and to do nothing as opposed to try to do something. So that's been very disappointing. The red tape bureaucracy was really disappointing considering what's at stake, these children's lives.
So what do you expect audiences to take away from this film?
Well, I'm hoping that they will gain some education into the issues surrounding international adoption and that they will be inspired to do something and learn more about it and maybe help the Both Ends Burning campaign actually make a change in the world.
What films have inspired you as a filmmaker?
Well, this past couple of years, there's been 2 films. One was called Hell and Back Again, or Hell and Back, I think, about a Marine in Afghanistan. And the film is a beautiful documentary that really gets into the mindset of a Marine in action and then how they deal with that experience returning home. I thought that was just fantastic. And the other one was Mugby and the White African, was a fantastic film, really, really beautifully done, very intimate and full attention, just fantastic. So, but there are, of course, many films that inspire me.
So what film has been your favorite at the festival so far?
Mine. I've actually, unfortunately, I've only seen 2 other films, so I don't think I'd want to say just because until I get a chance to see more films,
Okay. And then one last question is, do you have any advice for young aspiring filmmakers?
Yeah, I would say make films. You know, it's so cheap to make a film today. And somebody, maybe Steven Soderbergh possibly said this, that we all have 10 bad films in us, so we might as well just get them out, you know. So my advice is just make film. Use whatever equipment you have. It's not about that. And also, it's about the story. It's really always about the story. And without that, it doesn't matter how much money you put into it. It's just not going to be a great film. So start with great story, and then actually go out and make those stories, you know. And then eventually build your reel, and hopefully you'll be able to enter a festival like the Heartland Film Festival and get a little recognition for, say, a short or a low-budget feature, and then, you know, that'll be a stepping stone.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Julia. The entertainment world does some pretty annoying things, from re-releasing 3D movies to overusing shaky cam. These things and more irritate many people, but none more so than Chauncey Baker, who is here with us with his current Hollywood pet peeve. What have you got for us this week, Chauncey?
You know what me off more than the Batsuit having nipples in Batman and Robin? That's right, movies that are edited for content when shown on TV. The most common form of these edits come from muting out certain words or phrases rather than the questionable content originally featured in the film. A notable example of this could be found in the TV edit of Pulp Fiction. The film is notable for its frequent profanity, almost making it an important component of the movie. In all reality, would a tough-for-the-nails hitman say freaking over everyone's favorite four-letter word that begins with F? Exactly. Another way TV execs butcher perfectly good films is by completely cutting out sections of the movie. The other day I was watching Dumb and Dumber, one of my favorite screwball comedy films with Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels. A certain scene involves a highway patrolman drinking urine from a beer bottle that had been used by Jim Carrey on the road. The scene is hilarious, but it was noticeably absent from the TV edit. Why would you do things like that? You see 10 times as worse on Jersey Shore, with celebrities who are only famous for being famous and getting trashed and sleeping with each other in every single episode. Oh no, something a little gross on television. Give me a break. Easily the worst method of editing a film for TV is by cutting out sections of the movie for commercial breaks. Sometimes whole chunks of movies are noticeably absent due to the need for corporate advertising. My favorite channel, the Independent Film Channel, used to pride themselves for showing movies uncensored and uncut. Now, every 5 minutes, you see a freaking advertisement for beer or some new car that's being rolled out every week. It's ridiculous. Regardless, I'm Chauncey Baker, and this has been The Rant. I've also been edited for content for TV viewing.
Thanks, Chauncey. Unnecessary censorship is enough to make anyone go crazy. It looks like it's time for our next break, and when we come back, Ashley Lohman returns with this week's Actor Spotlight. But first, here's our recommendation of the week.
Lost in Translation follows Bob and Charlotte, a washed-up actor and the young wife of a photographer, who develop a rapport after a chance meeting in their Tokyo hotel. Their friendship develops as they venture through the city, have amusing encounters with its citizens, and discover a new belief in life's possibilities.
Written and directed by Sofia Coppola, the film is beautifully shot on location in Tokyo, and it stars Bill Murray, Scarlett Johansson, Anna Faris, and Giovanni Ribisi. This film garnered a lot of awards buzz when it was first released in 2003, and was nominated for 4 Academy Awards, winning Best Original Screenplay. Check it out.
For relaxing times, make it Suntory time.
時間がないんだよ。ね、パッションがカメラテンション上げて。
With intensity. Is that everything? It seemed like he said more than that.
Mr. Bob Hollis! Yo, kita na, Bob.
You're a movie star.
Yes, I should be doing.
Yeah. You know Rat Pack? Rat Pack? Rat Pack. A ring-a-ding-ding.
Mr. Harris, Mr. Kazo sent me my stockings. Lift them.
What?
Hey, lift my stockings.
Lip them? What? What are you doing?
My husband's a photographer, so he's here working. I wasn't doing anything, so I came along.
What do you do?
I'm not sure yet, actually. What are you doing here?
Getting paid $2 million to endorse a whiskey. The good news is the whiskey works.
Help!
Can you keep a secret? I'm trying to organize a prison break. We'd have to first get out of this bar, then the city, and then the country. Are you in or are you out?
I'm in.
How are you? I'm Bob.
You're probably just having a midlife crisis. Did you buy a Porsche yet?
You know, I was thinking about buying a Porsche.
I just don't know what I'm supposed to be.
You'll figure that out. The more you know who you are and what you want, the less you let things upset you.
You really are having a midlife crisis, huh?
Glad you stuck around. These days, certain actors seem to pop up in every movie, and it kind of makes you wonder where the heck they came from. Ashley Lohman is here to answer that question for an actor that has quite a few blockbusters under his belt. Ashley?
For this edition of the Actor Spotlight, I decided to talk about an actor whose next big movie is hitting theaters this Friday. I'll give you a few hints. The film features this particular British actor portraying the same character for the third time since 2006. He is the 6th British actor to play this role, and this is the 23rd film to be made based on said character. Now, if you're still a little confused, maybe a little theme music will help. Surely you get it now. This actor's name is Craig, Daniel Craig. The man who was chosen to play the role of the famous James Bond, aka codename 007, starting with Casino Royale in 2006, followed by Quantum of Solace in 2008, and now Skyfall. Craig is said to be one of British theater's most famous faces, strongly due to his success in the Bond franchise, not to mention his leading roles in other recent hits, such as Cowboys and Aliens and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. However, though he has always had some acting talent, things were not always quite so glamorous for him. He actually started acting on a stage rather than on the big screen. At the age of 14, he performed in high school plays, including Oliver, Romeo and Juliet, and Cinderella. When he turned 16, he left high school to audition for the National Youth Theater, which he performed with on tours to Valencia, Spain, and Moscow, Russia for 4 years. All the while, he was also working as a waiter just to make ends meet. However, in 1988, after a few failed auditions at the Guildhall School of Music and Drama, he finally got accepted. He graduated in 3 years and made his film debut in the 1992 drama The Power of One. In 1996, he transitioned to television with a role in the BBC series Our Friends in the North. His character, Geordie Peacock, was featured in 8 of the 9 episodes of the show. He rose to international fame in 2001 when he accepted a supporting role in the film Lara Croft Tomb Raider, followed by Road to Perdition in 2002. Then he received various award nominations for his performances in The Mother in 2003 and Enduring Love and Layer Cake, both in 2004. Of course, as I mentioned before, he was asked to take on the Bond role shortly after. It has actually been announced that he will be on board for the 24th and 25th Bond movies as well. Apparently, the next installment is currently in the works for a 2014 release, so keep that in mind when and if you go see Skyfall. This has been the Actor Spotlight. I'm Ashley Lohman.
Thanks, Ashley. Hearing about Daniel Craig makes me even more anxious to see Skyfall. I can't talk enough about my excitement for that movie.
It looks like you'll have to wait a little longer to tell us, Andrew, because it's time for our next break. When we come back, Nick Ewing will give us his review of the much-anticipated and mysterious Cloud Atlas, and Andrew and I will give you our final word. You won't want to miss this.
England and my sakes. She sent you after me knowing you're not ready, knowing you would likely die. Mommy was very bad. The 2 survivors. This is what she made us.
Everybody needs a hobby.
So what's yours?
Resurrection.
Welcome back. A few weeks ago, I expressed my anticipation for the mind-bending, multi-plot film Cloud Atlas. Well, this week, Nick Ewing is here with his review of the epic film. What are your thoughts, Nick?
If you've gone to the movies in the past few months, I'm sure you've seen a trailer for Cloud Atlas, and we're left wondering, so what's that supposed to be about? I decided to check it out this weekend, mainly because Tom Hanks is a boss. Also, Halle Berry's in it, and she's still looking pretty good. Someone asked me what this movie was about after I saw it, and I felt like the best answer was, it's about everything. Cloud Atlas is adapted from the 2004 novel by David Mitchell, and it tells 6 stories over the course of 3 hours, so make sure to bring extra snacks. What's great is each of these stories is so good that they could be movies themselves. It's rare to see a feature-length film directed by 3 different people, but this is the kind of movie I think it would work best for. The Wachowski siblings, who brought us The Matrix, and Tom Tykwer, who made Run Lola Run, all do a great job making this film the mind-bender that it is, without confusing the audience too much. The story follows each hero as they battle the forces of oppression in their own historical eras. The film takes you back and forth from story to story at a lightning speed paced, and it can seem overwhelming at first. Once you see that they're all following the same narrative, it becomes a lot easier to grasp what is going on. This movie has something for everybody, which is one reason I really enjoyed it. You truly believe that you are in whatever historical era you're watching, from a grim, futuristic Seoul filled with synthetic life forms and flying cars, to a post-apocalyptic world where Tom Hanks plays a hunter-gatherer, fighting off a tribe of bloodthirsty natives. There's a story set in the 1970s where Halle Berry uncovers a dark corporate scandal, and then there's a story of a passenger on a ship in the 1800s who is secretly being poisoned. I mean, this film has everything. The way the stories link up isn't obvious, but it's neat when you make the connection. The real point of the movie is the idea that we're all linked through time. Our dreams pass on to the next, and we all share the same struggles. I thought it was really cool. Technically, the movie is pretty impressive as well. The music gave me goosebumps at certain parts and really helped add to those aha moments where you understand the connections. The cast was outstanding, giving great and convincing performances, with each actor playing multiple roles throughout time. Some of them were kind of corny, but that's okay. The futuristic scenes in particular were visually stunning. Some of them were pretty terrifying. I love how this movie really stands out and does something different. Some people won't like how much it bounces from story to story, but you need to trust the directors and keep watching without getting frustrated. It really pays off. It's a long movie and it packs a ton of stuff into those 3 hours. It's one of those films you'll want to go see again to catch the things you missed the first time. I'd highly recommend this movie to anyone who's bored of the usual and looking for something a little more epic.
Thanks, Nick. It looks like it's time to wrap things up, but before we go, we'll leave you with our final word. One up-and-coming star that I have fallen in love with recently is Rebel Wilson. This Australian actress has quickly become a force to be reckoned with. She was Kristen Wiig's roommate in Bridesmaids and the quirky sidekick to Elizabeth Banks in What to Expect When You're Expecting. But her breakout role came in Pitch Perfect when she played Fat Amy. Wilson is so hilarious on screen and off. I watched some of her interviews and she had me in stitches from laughing so hard. For example, watching her and Ellen DeGeneres rap Salt and Pepper's Shoop is a bit that everyone must watch. When asked how Wilson got started in acting, she said she had contracted malaria in South Africa and hallucinated about being an actress accepting an Oscar. So, we have malaria to thank for bringing us an entertaining rising star. Look for Wilson in upcoming films such as Bachelorette and Pain and Gain, which are set to be released early next year.
For my final word, I'd like to welcome the return of the world's greatest super spy. His name is Bond, James Bond. And after a 4-year drought, he is returning to the silver screen in Sam Mendes' Skyfall. For 4 years, Bond fans were left with a fairly sour taste in their mouths with the disappointment that was Quantum of Solace. And it was a shame, considering Casino Royale really helped to revamp the series and take it to new and exciting places. Skyfall is looking to get Bond back on track, with an acclaimed director and a very talented cast. With American Beauty under his belt, Sam Mendes is the first Academy Award-winning director to direct a Bond film. Daniel Craig is back as Bond, and he is supported by a very talented cast, including Judi Dench, Javier Bardem, Ralph Fiennes, and Ben Whishaw. Javier Bardem will play Raul Silva, the film's villain, and after seeing Bardem's terrifying performance in No Country for Old Men, I am very excited to see what he does with his character. I will personally say that the main reason I was upset with Quantum of Solace is that while it made for a decent action movie, it didn't feel like a Bond film. Skyfall is looking to fix this by bringing back two key members of the Bond franchise, Q and Miss Moneypenny. I have always been a big fan of Q, and I'm really excited to see what Ben Whishaw will bring to this iconic role. Skyfall will be released in the United States on November 9th, and this marks the 50th anniversary of James Bond.
And that's all for us this week. Be sure to check our Facebook and Twitter pages for updates on all things entertainment. Until next time, I'm Kayli Russell.
And I'm Andrew Bennett. See you next week.